Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd is my all-time favourite film. I love Thomas Becket Prest's story, The String of Pearls. I'm always happy to watch new versions of Sweeney Todd that I haven't seen. So when I discovered Sweeney Todd, Slice and Dice, the 2025 film, I was rather looking forward to it. And I'm pleased to say that while it's not completely the story of Sweeney Todd, I thought it was quite a fun way to enjoy the characters with a little bit of a difference. This is directed by Stephen M. Smith, it's written by Smith and Christopher Jolley, and we have a cast including Terry Bird, Joe Dyson, Stephen Brandon, and various others. And Terry Bird plays Sweeney Todd. Joe Dyson is Mrs. Lovett. And the basic concept, if you're unaware of Sweeney Todd is a barber, Mrs. Lovett has a pie shop. Sweeney Todd uses his razors to kill people, and Mrs. Lovett puts them into pies. And that general premise is there. It is recognisable as the story of Sweeney Todd, but it's not identical to the book or indeed to any other adaptation. So it is a little different, but I think the story was well handled. I think the characters are very well written. I think the motivations are quite strong for both Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett. So it is a little different, but in a way that was kind of fresh. That's not to say that had it been completely true to the original story, I wouldn't have liked it, because I absolutely would have done, but it was nice to have something just a little bit different while still offering the same characters, generally the same concept. It's a decent story, and the characters are very believable as Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett. I thought the way the characters were presented, the way they're written, the performances, definitely very recognisable as characters, and the performances there were just really, really brilliant. It's not gory, really, but for example, we'll see bits of limbs and things, and it's a little, if you're squeamish, it might not be for you, but it's not over the top or anything. It's not too gory or too graphic. So that's just something that's worth bearing in mind, that it's maybe not for anybody with a weak stomach, but it's not too severe. Visually, it's a satisfying film. The music is brilliant. I absolutely loved the music in this. The costumes look fine. Everything about this was a really satisfying experience. That being said, if you're brand new to Sweeney Todd, I would not recommend this as your introduction. Needless to say, I'm going to recommend Tim Burton's film as an introduction. I think that it's the best version of the story, needless to say. But if you're an existing Sweeney Todd fan and you want a new story or a slightly different story to enjoy the characters with a decent narrative, well-written characters, and visually it's a very satisfying film, then I'm very happy to recommend Sweeney Todd, Slice and Dice. As I said, Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd is my all-time favourite film. And on the one hand, that means that I do know what I like. I do have certain expectations for the characters, for the stories, but at the same time, it also means that I'm sometimes quite easily pleased, because I just want the basic elements of the story, and I don't mind it if something's a little bit different. So, in general, I had a lot of fun with this. If you're an existing Sweeney Todd fan, then I'd say Sweeney Todd, Slice and Dice is worth watching. I guess as well, if there are other versions of Sweeney Todd, but going back to Tim Burton's, if you watched the film, but for example, maybe you're not a fan of musicals, but you liked the characters, this could be a good way to enjoy the characters without the musical element. But as a musicals fan, obviously that's something I actually love about that film. So in general, while I'm going to say I wouldn't recommend it if you're not a Sweeney Todd fan, if you didn't like the musical film, you might actually like this. So whatever your reason for watching this, I'd say Sweeney Todd Slice and Dice is one that's worth checking out. I rather enjoyed it, and I'm happy to recommend it.